Harry Styles wins big at the Brit Awards and gives prize to female artists who were not nominated. The Brit Awards have been many things in their 46-year history, but Saturday Night Entertainment has never been one of them. Until now, that is. The 2023 edition was moved to Saturday night in search of a ratings boost, but it appears likely that the majority of the target demographic would be out on the town, dancing to these songs in less glitzy surroundings than London's O2 Arena. All week, the rumor was that broadcasters wanted a safe, conservative show to please the family audience at home. Were they successful? Both yes and no. Harry Styles stayed true to the script. Of course, he has previous experience as Mr. Saturday Night, having first gained public attention as a member of One Direction as a contestant on The X Factor in this very slot. Although 1D finished third in that competition, Styles was the undisputed winner tonight, opening the show with an exuberant, if straightforward, rendition of As It Was and going on to win 4 awards: Pop, R&B Act, Song of the Year, Artist of the Year, and MasterCard Album of the Year, all for his Grammy-winning Harry's House album, drew him back to the stage for speeches laced with gratitude rather than attitude, though he did at least address the big pre-show controversy over the all-male shortlist for Artist of the Year, after gendered categories were scrapped last year, not to mention his befuddling, much criticized comment when accepting the "I'm very aware of my privilege up here tonight," he said, to warm applause, referring to some of the female artists who were overlooked by Academy voters. So, Charlie, this is for Rena, Charlie, Florence, Mabel and Becky. However, the BRITs also provided an alternative narrative, because the other big winners were Wet Leg, the kind of quirky indie rockers who dominated this event in its heyday in the 90 seconds but now barely get a look in. They went full Midsummer as they hurtled through Chaise Long, a rare indie rock song that can compete with pop bangers on its own terms, accompanied by a whirlwind of folk dancers and people dressed as woodland creatures, and their acceptance speeches for Group of the Year and Best New Artist were equally captivating. To begin, Arctic Money's 2014 BRIT speech was quoted by lead vocalist Ryan Teasdale, "That rock 'n' roll, it just won't go away," a reference that seemed lost on most of the 2023 audience, but hit home with indie rockers. When they returned to the stage for the second time, bassist Ellis Duran blurted out "Fuck the Tories" as his parting shot, an outburst that was censored for the live broadcast but received a standing ovation in the audience. There was a time when the nation's rock stars could be counted on to bring plenty of controversy to the live show, but this year it seemed like the majority of the storms were created by the BRITs themselves. Take, for example, this year's Rising Star winners, R&B group Flow. They not only did not perform on the telecast, but they were also not presented with their award, though they did have to endure one of host Mo Gilligan's random table chats. The group's decision not to perform live seemed odd given industry concerns about the lack of new breakthrough UK artists, and the contentious absence of R&B artists from the Best Pop, R&B category. Indeed, all of the British winners announced that evening were white. Kat Burns, one of the act's Flow beat to Rising Star, did get to perform her hit Go, and she did an excellent job of enhancing the slow-burning hit with an orchestra. Orchestras and choirs were everywhere, as were Stormzy, usually a BRIT's firebrand but as subdued here as his tasteful ochre-toned outfit, and Lewis Capaldi, who was inexplicably introduced by Gilligan as Sam Capaldi, an incident Capaldi immediately mocked on social media. Sam Smith and Kim Petras didn't go the stripped-down route, at least not in that sense, but they did deliver a much more PG-13 performance of Unholy here than at the Grammys, while David Guetta, who was named Producer of the Year, performed a closing medley with Becky Hill, Ella Henderson, and Sam Ryder felt as generic a Saturday night finale as you'd find in any provincial nightclub. International-wise, Beyonce won 2 awards but sent video messages, meaning it was down to Lizzo to show the BRITs what a show-stopping awards performance really looks like. She duly obliged, performing with what looked like a fluffy pink couch on her shoulders. Her flute-enhanced, twerk-heavy medley of songs from Special was probably the one moment guaranteed to get viewers at home off their sofas and up and dancing. But if the performances were slick, the stuff around them was sometimes anything but. After 2 years of COVID restrictions, the famously raucous music industry tables returned to the O2 Arena floor and after-show parties were once more booking out upscale venues. New WMG CEO Robert Kinkle flew in for the show and was spotted sat next to CEO of Recorded Music, Max Lasada. Sony Music Group chairman Rob Stringer was also in the house, on hand to congratulate Styles on his multiple wins. Meanwhile, this year's BRIT's chairman, Atlantic MD, president of promotions Damian Christian, was relaxed enough to be sat at his table, rather than pacing nervously backstage. Rumors swept the arena that former Prime Minister Liz Truss was a guest in one industry box, and, if so, she would surely have recognized the BRIT's ability to generate chaos in such a short time frame. Random guests Stanley Tucci, Shania Twain, some people from Emily in Paris, popped up repeatedly to no great purpose. Gilligan, who should be comfortable on Saturday Night TV after well-received stunts on The Masked Singer, and that's my jam, remains a comedian seemingly in search of some actual jokes. Singer Tom Grennan made a comment about co-presenter Ellie Goulding's anatomy that we won't dignify by repeating, but was about as tone-deaf as one can be in 2023, and an increasingly random selection of presenters seemed to be engaged in a competition to see who could say the daftest thing while giving away an award. While, towards the end, a technical difficulty meant they had to show a video of Adele's performance from last year to fill some space. That at least gave everyone a chance to catch their breath from a BRITS that was somehow both predictable and unpredictable, a tad bland and rather edgy, depending on your standpoint.